There's finally some joy for the Fox-Truman family in EastEnders next week as young Jordan Fox, Josiah Williams, returns home following his car accident. But in classic soap fashion, their elation is short-lived when they receive some devastating news regarding Denise Fox, Diane Parrish. Following Denise's blood cancer diagnosis earlier this month, the hair salon owner put off beginning urgent treatment so she could be there for her daughter Chelsea Fox, Zara Abrahams, as she kept a bedside vigil for son Jordan. But when her family finally learned of her leukemia, they managed to convince her to seek the medical attention she so desperately needed. Meanwhile, as Jordan was laid up in hospital after being hit by Ian Beale's Adam Woodyard car during Vicky Fowler, Alice Haig, and Ross Marshall's Alex Walkinshaw wedding celebrations, matters have been further complicated by Libby Fox, Belinda Owusu, reaching out to Sheila Ruskin, the grandmother of Jordan's murderous father, Gray Atkins, Toby Alexander Smith. Having been through a hell of an emotional few weeks, the Fox-Trumans prepare for Jordan's return as Chelsea considers whether to let Sheila into the youngster's life. There is jubilation as Jordan later returns home, but the celebratory moment is cut short when Jack Branning, Scott Massillon, arrives from the hospital and reveals that none of the family is a stem cell match for Denise. Chelsea is particularly distraught by the news she can't be a donor for her sick mom, and seeks solace at the CAF. However, she is stunned to find Sheila sat there already. Surprisingly, Sheila manages to offer comfort to Chelsea in her moment of distress, which leads to her making a snap judgment that it is time for Sheila to meet Jordan. Having made the decision in such a highly emotional state, will it be one Chelsea lives to regret? With Gray's unexpected return to EastEnders imminent, it certainly seems that way. Albert Square is about to experience an emotional roller coaster as a familiar face makes a heartwarming return, only for celebrations to be shattered by news that leaves the entire community stunned. For weeks, residents have been wondering when young Jordan would finally come back to Walford. His absence has weighed heavily on those closest to him, especially Chelsea, who has struggled to keep everything together while worrying about his future. But in upcoming scenes, hope finally arrives when Jordan returns home. The atmosphere is electric as family members gather to welcome him back. Chelsea can barely contain her emotions as she throws her arms around her son, tears streaming down her face. After months of uncertainty, the reunion feels like a miracle. Neighbors quickly rally around the family. Well-wishers fill the square with smiles, and for a brief moment, it seems as though all the recent troubles can be forgotten. Even some of Walford's most hardened residents soften at the sight of Jordan's return. Chelsea is determined to make the day special. She decorates the house, prepares Jordan's favorite foods, and insists that everyone focus on the positive. After everything they have endured, she believes they deserve a chance to celebrate. Jordan himself appears delighted to be back among familiar faces. His infectious smile lights up every room he enters, reminding everyone why he is so loved. However, in true EastEnders fashion, happiness never lasts for long. As the celebrations continue, Chelsea notices something troubling. Jordan seems unusually tired. At first, she dismisses it as the result of travel and excitement. But as the day goes on, the signs become harder to ignore. Jordan struggles to keep up with conversations. He appears distracted and exhausted, causing concern among those closest to him. Chelsea's joy slowly begins to turn into anxiety. Later, a routine medical appointment delivers a bombshell nobody was expecting. The doctor explains that recent tests have revealed worrying developments regarding Jordan's health. While the exact details remain unclear at first, it becomes obvious that the situation is far more serious than anyone imagined. Chelsea is left speechless. Only hours earlier, she had been celebrating Jordan's return. Now she finds herself facing the possibility of another painful battle. The devastating news spreads quickly through Walford. Friends and neighbors who had been celebrating alongside Chelsea are suddenly confronted with a heartbreaking reality. Some refuse to believe it. Others immediately offer support. But everyone agrees on one thing. Jordan and Chelsea cannot face this alone. The emotional impact is particularly strong for those who have watched Jordan grow up. Several residents struggle to hold back tears as they learn what the future may hold. Meanwhile, Chelsea finds herself pushed to breaking point. She desperately tries to stay strong for Jordan's sake, but privately she is overwhelmed by fear. Every smile becomes harder to maintain. Every reassuring word feels more difficult to say. In touching scenes, she confides in close friends, admitting that she doesn't know how much more heartbreak she can take. Yet Jordan proves to be stronger than anyone expected. Despite the worrying prognosis, he remains determined not to let the news define him. His courage inspires everyone around him, reminding the square that hope can survive even in the darkest moments. Unexpected alliances begin to form. Characters who rarely see eye to eye put their differences aside to support the family. Long-standing feuds suddenly seem insignificant compared to what Jordan is facing. The crisis also forces Chelsea to reassess her priorities. Recent conflicts and personal dramas suddenly pale in comparison. Her focus shifts entirely to protecting her son and ensuring he receives the care he needs. But not everyone reacts positively. One resident's insensitive comments threaten to spark fresh conflict just when the family needs peace the most. Tensions rise, and before long, tempers begin to flare across the square. Chelsea soon finds herself fighting battles on multiple fronts. While trying to stay strong for Jordan, she must also deal with interference, gossip, and the emotional strain of an uncertain future. The coming weeks promise powerful scenes as the family faces difficult decisions. Doctors continue monitoring Jordan's condition, while loved ones cling to every piece of hopeful news. Viewers will see moments of heartbreak, courage, and determination as Jordan's story unfolds. One thing is certain: his return is set to become one of the most emotional storylines of the year. What began as a joyful homecoming quickly transforms into a devastating struggle that will test every relationship around him. As Chelsea stands beside her son, refusing to give up hope, Walford prepares for a journey that could change lives forever. The celebrations may be over, but the fight is only just beginning. And in true EastEnders style, the biggest question remains unanswered. Can Jordan and his family find the strength to overcome the heartbreaking challenge that now lies ahead? Or is Albert Square about to witness one of its most tragic chapters yet? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to EastEnders Spoilers Official.